Welcome back. Welcome back, everybody. Happy Thursday. And welcome back to Millennials Adulting. I'm Eve. That's Marie.
Hello.
And tonight, well, y'all will have to excuse my sniffling and the snot and the tissue roll. I'm having an allergy attack like crazy over here. So bear with me. But tonight, I wanted to have a conversation about choice. And for all of yous who've been tuning in with us, and sometimes, I throw Marie off with my topic. Tonight is probably one of those nights. So, if I've ever thrown you off with the things that we talk about here, well, tonight might be one of those nights for you too. Because, well, in 2024, well, the balloon pop game.
Before I decide if I actually pop my balloon, could you give me a kiss?
What do you say?
Shit.
You want what?
I want a kiss.
To know if he's a good kisser or something?
Something like that. I just want to see if he's easy.
You are not licking your lips? Let me see if you go shamelessly. Should you say someone shaking ash? Well, let's see now.
Don't play with me. Give me a kiss.
Come here.
You know what?
But I'm transgender.
What?
God have mercy upon us.
Like you was born a dude?
Yeah.
You fucking lying, bro.
You just kissed a man.
Before I decide if I actually pop my balloon, could you give me a kiss?
You just kissed a man. Okay, I'm sorry, Marie. Marie.
I don't know. I have my doubts. I'm also wondering what country this is in.
Yes, so throwing that out there, you guys, y'all know that the things that trend here, they start trending in other places, and then, another form of something that we're familiar with takes root from, Bollywood to K-pop. Well, now we've got the balloon pop, and it seems like maybe they are in a melanated country. The host having I don't want to stereotype, but she's got an African sounding African accent. But I don't know what country, so don't.
So I asked because homosexuality is actually outlawed in certain African countries, and the penalty is death. And so I was just curious as to what country this could be in.
Well, it's definitely probably not going to be in one of those countries because, well, I mean, the way those chicks popped the balloon after he kissed him, I wonder if everybody knew. He just didn't know. So it would be, so he would be the only person not privy to the information. But the trans person, they wouldn't be so afraid to do such a thing. But yes, some countries in Africa do have very strict laws on homosexuality, and a lot of times people come here because of how lax the laws are, and how progressive we've been in the sex game. So, but yeah, progressive. We're gonna say progressive because at the end of the day, in my personal and humble opinion, me just being Eve, I think that the original gays didn't think that we would be here. The original good ones. Maybe there's some original nefarious ones who had some alternate thoughts, but no, I essentially think that people who want to have sex the way they want to have sex legally and consensually, I don't know that that's anybody's business. But once you want to start fucking kids, that might be people's business. They don't have any rights. So who's to speak up for the babies? But outside of that, and the animals, god damn it, I'm sorry, I can't stress this enough, Marie. I have a personal, very big issue with people who do things to animals, because the fuck, they didn't ask for any of that. Not that a child did either, which is why that's another line in the sand that I.
Yeah, that's a line. Anything with children sexual assault, to me, honestly, is a line in the sand. However, I do think that not being upfront about your gender or what you were or are before any form of intimacy, I think that that is wrong and can be very dangerous. So I almost find it not even like, it's like, you know, everyone was kind of like that's actually scary. You don't know what could happen to that person that's transgender after making said decision without letting them know. I find that oftentimes that's probably we've seen a lot of situations where even just saying that they are attracted to someone, we've seen people die, be killed by even just saying that publicly, and the person being mortified and being so mortified that they felt that in order to, I guess, avenge themselves, they had to kill the person that made the declaration. So I actually find that kind of scary, and I think that it's wrong. I don't think that the consequence should be death, but you can't actually tell someone how to react to something like that. But we've seen a lot of incidences where trans women are, and also trans women are killed at a higher rate, especially women of color, trans women of color. So there's that too.
Definitely the violence towards people who are not honest about things, that is a big thing. But I do think that is, I would have to say that it's going to have to be sequestered inside of, you know, that community. Essentially, maybe, I don't know, fellas, y'all are gonna have to enlighten me. But as a woman, I just feel like I would know that it was a cosplaying man. So I just don't know why men.
Honestly, I couldn't tell at that moment, to be honest with you. So because of the, I guess, work that he or she's have done. Also, I mean, have you ever seen a man with childbearing hips? Because I certainly have. So hips with an ass and some breasts, even her voice, like, to be honest with you. So for me, I did not know up front that was a trans woman. Did you?
I had questions. It was
Did you have questions because you kind of knew where it was
ordered? No, I had no idea where this was going to go. When this popped up on my feed, I was it didn't say like trans man.
Why would this pop up on your feed? What the hell do you be looking at this? Why would this pop up on your feed? That's a different show.
Right, we're gonna have to talk about that. No, it is very strange, the things that pop up on my feed, not things that I'm following, but just, you know, what happens in the algo. But no, this popped up. I watched it and I was like, oh shit, because just the way that all the women popped their balloon, it was like a hindsight thing for me. Like, shit, did everybody know? And then if everybody knew, that's really fucked up that they would just let him walk right into that. And he's trying to be all smooth and, you know, I don't know. The trans person's voice, I know I've heard women that sound like that, you know, with the baby voice or the help me voice or the pick me voice. Nasally, y'all know what voice it is. He was using a voice, and I've heard that from us. But
I've heard women sick and sound like that.
That's what I'm saying. Like I've heard women sound like that, and don't get me wrong, sometimes the work is really good. I'm not out here trying to bang women though. So to me,
I mean, hell, there's plenty of women with bad work. So that's the thing too. There's a lot of women with bad work. I mean, sometimes you see those flat stomachs and it looks kind of like it looks like the skin is pulled so tight, where it seems like it's like stretching like a part of me. It's like, well, what happens when, you know how sometimes you eat, you get that little you kind of get a little bloated. Like what happens in those situations with your tight ass stomach? Which again, I don't necessarily think I'm hating. I would like a smaller stomach, but I don't want it to look like that. Like that's like I don't like, where are you guys going to get that stomach? Like I need that one that kind of looks more natural per se. But we've seen plenty of women with bad work. And the irony though is like there's even rich women with bad work, which actually is really scary. So if you're telling me your rich ass cannot afford to get a good, what does that mean for my middle class ass? Like that's a concerning for me. Like that would be discouraging for me to get work done because I recognize that there are people filthy rich with bad work done, you know? So it's like, like that could happen to me too. And then when it, you know, I don't know if I have the money to be correcting all that stuff or whatever. Like, yeah,
that's a whole other part of the process too. Can you afford to correct things, or do you have to allow it? And then is it going to correct things? I saw a meme. It was a collaboration. It was a collage picture of, you know, some of our icons from back in the day and from today, with their original look and then their plastic surgery look. So you've got like Lil' Kim, Serena. I don't know. Those were the two that are really sticking out in my mind right now. But it was talking about how self-esteem really will have you doing some really stupid shit. You know, maybe it wasn't so bad how it started, and look at you now. Is this really where you wanted to go?
I don't know. So I heard with Lil' Kim, her situation was she was physically abused or something. I've heard like mixed stories. I don't know, but definitely who she was before definitely is better than how she looks now. But I did hear some stories under the guise that maybe she was like physically abused and she had like the surgery was to reconstruct.
Oh, damn.
But like I said, I can't. That's what I've heard from other African Americans who, you know, will go defend her. Not sure. I don't know if that's true or not, but I did hear that she was in a physically abusive relationship, and that was part of why she.
That's rough.
But then to me, that doesn't explain the light-skinnedness of it all.
Yeah, I mean, mental illness and how people deal with trauma. Not saying that their trauma is a mental illness, but how they are dealing with trauma could present itself in a mental way, you know. So I'm not here to judge people who go under the knife. I'm just saying that if you go under the knife and you chop your balls off and you don't tell the men that you used to have balls, that might be a problem. And then, yesterday was Joe Biden's birthday. Happy birthday, Joe Biden. But it was also the Transgender Day of Remembrance. And
fuck Joe Biden. Fuck Joe Biden, by the way. But carry on.
No, Joe tried to get himself got in the Amazon, and I thought you would like that. He did that for you. The monkeys didn't get him, but he tried to get got. If you didn't see it, I'll pull it up in a bit. But you were talking about the violence, and it is there. There is actual factual data to support the fact that the trans women, is that what it is? Yeah, the trans women, they suffer some crazy violent acts. But I personally just think that it goes back to this consent thing. Men getting raped isn't something that people talk about en masse, regardless of how much it happens. And people say that it's because there are no victims to report the crime, or there aren't as many, you know, so maybe that is another reason why
shame around a man. So a man being raped is going to be different than a woman. And I don't say that it's different like that, but in essence too, there's a stigma behind it, especially if it's homosexual rape. Because it also impacts his dignity, how he's seen, how he feels about himself as a man. But more importantly, I think it needs to be said that it's actually men that make men feel like this. Which is always very,
Absolutely.
when we talk about safe spaces or men not having safe spaces, it's typically other men that don't give men the safe spaces, which is
Right.
why now they're like running amok on social media because they didn't have that opportunity in the past. And now they feel their voices are being, there's an opportunity for their voices being heard. And they're all just kind of congregating together like hurt bitches, sitting as a board for an echo chamber for each other, when all actuality was other men that may have been more masculine, even hyper masculine, that didn't allow them to have that space. But instead of acknowledging that, they've decided to blame women.
That's facts.
Set the tone, to be honest with you, and especially Black women.
It's a shame that
But I love that they think we're so empowered.
it's
Wow.
wait, you said that they think that we're so what?
Empowered. I'm like, oh, you think I have the capability of doing it? Me? Huh. That's funny. Okay. That's laughable.
Laughable.
But I love you.
It's the echo chamber for me. People who they're not comfortable saying how they feel. So then they go and find somebody who, feels how they feel and wasn't afraid to say these things. My problem with all of this is that even in these circles, the right to choose, if people aren't really having honest conversations, then what are you getting from the group of people that you're around? I feel like free choice, is that what it is? That was on the ticket, the ballot, the right. Is it called pro-choice, pro-life? What is it called?
Pro-choice. So to be honest, when you said the right to choose, I actually thought maybe we were talking about abortion or being pro-life. I was not prepared for you to be talking about transgenders masquerading around as just a particular gender that they didn't originally start off at birth, which was why I was hesitant on what's description to put for this video, because I didn't know up until 5 minutes before. So there's that, which unfortunately I blamed your husband for that, which I'm sorry to him. I'm sorry.
This is all me.
But I can actually see why that's your husband now. Now it all makes sense. Like now it's all coming together.
The maths, right?
Yeah.
That's funny. This topic is it's very near and dear to me because I feel it was an episode of Big Brother where Genuine was on there, like from a long time ago, right? And this transgender was like pushing up on him, and he was, saying no, and people kind of didn't really appreciate the fact that he didn't get all violent, or maybe they wanted him to get violent so that there would be more content from the interaction or something. But at the end of the day, I was like, that's good, to not have known that this was about to happen. And then, well, is that how everybody expects people to act, when presented with a situation where it's like, I'm not into you, chill. Like, how do men deal with the women that they're not attracted to or want as much as they know how to handle it? But when it's a man, they don't know how to handle it. Maybe it's the equality thing. They both got swords. So I don't know. Maybe they start to feel threatened by the approach. I don't know.
I think that I would assume that I don't know. It's one of those things too. It's even more sometimes men can't be in the same room as a gay man, and it's like who the fuck even said he's interested in you?
But let's go there.
Like immediate. A part of me wonders if there's something else going on behind the scenes. I don't think that someone being gay should bother you that much. You know what I mean?
Yes,
the idea too is like, I think I've seen something one day and it was like, why would someone be gay ever bother me? Like, you're taking another man off the street and I'm a heterosexual man, which means I like women. So that means there's less competition for me for these women. Like, fuck that. Thank you, sir. Thank you. So I never fully understood that, but I also think that, there's a lot of things that are kind of deep-seated, due to what buck breaking, historical things that may have happened to Black people, where I do think that while we'll overlook a pedophile, we're very homophobic. Someone's uncle could be handsy and people can know that and they still just know that and carry on. And he's still at Thanksgiving, but that gay child, may not be welcome, may be physically harmed. I think that there's a stigma, but like I said, I also think it's associated with buck breaking, where even when African men were brought to this country and made to be slaves, they were also brutalized and they were even raped themselves. And I think it's just something that, it's kind of some trauma we really just haven't recovered from.
That's a good point, the buck breaking aspect, and I would definitely agree that is a component.
So the whole idea for you to choose that. But even too, I still like men and I think they're fucking assholes. So I know for a fact that you can't choose who you love. I would like to be a lesbian, but that's just not who I am, nor does that ever interest me. So, and the fact that just men aren't that great and I still like them, to me really proves that you can't, choose who you love. Because I would like to like men.
I don't believe
still do. It's like I still want to give it a try every now and then, and that frustrates me. But that's how I know you really just can't choose who you love, because why? Why would I still want to do that?
You are so funny. I'm gonna have to wholeheartedly disagree with you. You absolutely can choose who you love. Maybe you can't choose how, again, mental illness and how people are dealing with the crazy of life, it expresses itself in different ways. People are not honest about.
We all have gay cousins. No one's harmed them.
Well, Jesse, I'm definitely there with you too. Let me throw that on the screen so people can see what the fuck we're talking about. There is the argument that people think that the Black community is very homophobic because of the data of who is harming who when it comes to trans men, and who beats shit out of them or killed them or whatever, it being a Black man.
Which, I think that also has to do with proximity, unfortunately. But
which is the Black on Black crime.
Because white men do weird gay shit all the time. And they be heterosexual and shit. Like,
well,
when I put a carrot in his ass, what?
That there's
why the fuck would you ever do that?
It's funny. But to Jesse's point, I agree with you, because we've got gay pastors, gay cousins, gay, there is a lot of allowables. But to Marie's point, there's been some things where we're just not going to talk about it. We'll ignore it, sweep it under the rug, because maybe this person is getting the resources. Maybe this person is the reason we're eating. We can't.
Or even too, I don't know. He came out, his daughter's gay, and he's finally okay about it, but her partner isn't welcomed at home. So one thing I do feel about being gay is you gay because you're gay. No, not so. Seeing someone else be openly gay does not inspire you to be gay.
I wouldn't think that. I would think that it's
he's like, well, I don't want anyone else to get the wrong idea. So what's the wrong idea? Like, that now if I actually Boosie.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
Boosie badass. Little Boosie, where he was like his daughter.
I got
she's
you.
gay, she's welcome to be home. But yeah. So that being said, though, but it was like he doesn't want her partner there because he doesn't want
want them to get the wrong idea.
But I'm like, what would be the wrong idea? Like, I guess if I'm gay, I should feel comfortable to be gay. If I'm not gay, then I'm not going to be inspired to be gay. All of a sudden, me seeing two men kiss or two women kiss, I'm going to go kiss a bitch too. That never, I don't think that would cross your mind. I think that would only cross your mind if it's something you've already wanted to do. There's no, just like we were talking about that book you brought up the last time you threw a wild card at me.
That child book.
But I'm like, only someone gay would go pick up that book. Like, it's not gonna, no one's gonna read it like, oh, I want to be gay now. Like, it's just not how it happens.
I believe that it's more about the acceptance of, and we're living in a time where people are being told that you're original, you're unique, you can do what you want to do. And on top of that, Black Americans specifically are being told, hey, be anything other than Black because that Black is a target on your back. So now you've got, well, okay, I'm a woman first, or I'm gay first, or I'm a cop first, I'm a AKA or a sorority first, or
because a Black person. So I think that people love being Black no matter how dangerous it is. You know what I mean?
oh yeah, for sure, that is true.
But I think that even to say, well, I'm a cop first, I'm this first, people identify with their careers every day as like who they are. And they actually spend a lot of time trying to separate themselves at a certain point. Just like being sometimes as a, like you're Eve, right? But you're a mom. And sometimes it seems like when being a mom, I'm sure there's had to be at some point, maybe you're lucky, but most people kind of lose themselves sometimes being a mom or even being
absolutely.
Then you have to remember, like, get back to who
you
I
gotta
really
compartmentalize all that shit.
Yeah, absolutely. So to me,
absolutely. Yeah.
To me, I'm not necessarily sure that while I don't think, because even too, I don't think the culture necessarily says be everything but Black, but maybe it is saying try to assimilate. And I don't even think it's the culture. I think it's middle-class Blacks that say that kind of shit. It's middle-class Blacks that are like, we don't want to be loud because what would the whites say? Fuck the whites.
What you just said, that's exactly it right there. And to a underlying point, Blacks are the culture, you know, so it is whatever we say, you know, as soon as we accept it, it's cool. As soon as we stop accepting it, it isn't cool. You know, we're up and down roller coastery people
because of the power structure that is, you know what I mean? Like even for me, when I first kind of walked into my first real corporate America job, being in a predominantly white environment and wanting to be myself but not be myself because I felt the need to repress that, and then watching white people, young white boys, repeat Black colloquialisms and say things, and then kind of recognize that people think that he's cool or whatever, or even having that token Black guy there where he's doing some extra Black shit, but everyone thinks it's so neat. And then, but you being a Black woman,
the Obama effect that we talked about.
But you being a Black woman, you're still trying to just keep it all in, and then one day just not giving a fuck, right? Because, and the funny part is, I found that they probably liked me less because they didn't know me because I was so compartmentalized. You know what I mean? And not to say, but like, if you're gonna not like me, I'd rather you not like me for me being my motherfucking self. And for that reason, I kind of just started being like, I don't give a fuck, and I'm not finna work harder. Surprise! I'm not one of those niggas. I'm gonna do exactly what the fuck Amber's doing, just enough. Okay. I'm no longer overcompensating. I'm not being extra professional so my Blackness doesn't pour out. Whatever. I'm like, you see that shit Tommy said? You see Tommy said that Black shit? And y'all was okay with it? I'm finna say my Black shit too, okay? Have a good day.
I love that.
I was in a meeting with my VP, and I'm like, so when people have me fucked up at work, you want me to go talk to them? I mean, that's fair. Okay. I'll do that. You don't want me to just be pissed off at them and ignore them for the period of time till I need them again? Okay. I can do that, you know. But I think it's so important to really maintain who you are. But I also think that it comes with a certain level of confidence as well, right? You got to be good at what you do, and you're confident in who you are, and you're no longer being apologetic for being Black.
Absolutely.
I don't owe y'all shit. Like, if anything, what I seen this thing, he's like, if anything, I owe y'all ass whooping. I don't owe you anything. I'm not sorry for showing up Black today at work. If you wanted somebody different, you should have hired somebody different. That's part
of the confidence thing that you just referenced. And I mean, to the point where we were talking about going under the knife, it is a confidence thing. You know, confidence that's a mental thing to me. And then from there, how people are dealing with the crazy that is the life that they're living, you know, right now in this day and age, you know, it's going to come out in very weird ways. Jesse, I would agree with you. The white boys that you were talking about, Marie, they weren't trying to be Black as much as they like to act Black. And then, you know, it's the faking of the
The cool shit.
Black culture. You know, they don't really want the Black experience. They just want to, you know, be cool enough. You know, that's why they take our slang and they try to do our dances. And TikTok is hot because of rhythm. Who knew white people had rhythm until TikTok? Goodness.
So Jesse's funny with that comment he made. You know, the funny part is that my job that I have, I didn't initially get the job the first round of interviews. In fact, I had
this comment
more
right here.
interviews with someone else. And my friends swore up and down that they hired a white woman and not me. And to be honest with you, the woman they hired actually made me seem white. She was a Black woman with natural hair, and like she actually will cuss your ass out in a meeting and tell you how you had her fucked up and like use curse words, profanity, and everything. And they thought that they liked that she was real. I was like, I don't know how long this realness gonna last, but I respect your position. I'm probably not finna, but I won't cuss at adult when I'm mad anyways. I just don't do that because I feel like it feels violent. Now, if I'm not mad, I'm like a fucking sailor. But if I am mad, I'm absolutely going to, you know, restrain myself because I also want to articulate myself in a way that someone receives it. My objective is not to make them feel on the defensive side and then they stop receiving my message because then I just be talking for no motherfucking reason. That being said, it can be done, but it's also all about the company, the culture of the company as well. I don't think that you can just get away with that shit anywhere. But I for me personally, I'm one of those people. I'll leave a company because I don't like something. Like I left a company because I felt like they all were like, I felt like they weren't very efficient, and I felt like they just all had too many fucking meetings. I was just like, you're always meeting about so. We even had a meeting once about not having as many meetings, and the fact that that was a meeting and not a fucking
not an email. Yeah, no,
time to go. She was dark skinned. But the fact that that was like a meeting, I thought was the dumbest shit ever. But it seemed like they all were like they were taking on so much that they weren't getting things done. And literally there were multiple times they weren't meeting deadlines and I was. And it was like, and then they wanted me to be like more cordial, like, you didn't meet with your peers just to talk and get to know them. Bitch, I got 2 other jobs. I don't have time to meet with my peers. I'm just trying to get my work done. Yeah, I'm quitting. I'm quitting. Don't like your culture. Seems very stressful. You guys don't have a good work-life balance. And maybe I'm a millennial. So I quit because of culture.
No.
Like,
health,
I don't.
Mental health matters.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't like here. I'm gonna go somewhere else. I'm not so much concerned about my salary. I'm more concerned about how you treat me and how I feel when I get up every fucking day. Or I'm not coming in that bitch.
That part. And look, so moving into something similar and different. It's the culture. We used to live in a time where people said pause. You know, you said something gay, pause, because you're not gay. But this Lord Jamar interview.
Isn't that recent though? I think they were saying that.
Yeah. Well, no, pause is not recent. I think No Diddy is super recent. But, you know, just anything that you would do to separate yourself from something that might have been considered a Freudian slip back in the day.
Oh, you know, I mean, you're saying like no homo when you like, oh, you.
There we go, no homo. That's before.
I'm like, I see more recent because I was seeing that.
No homo.
No Diddy, I still think No Diddy doesn't make sense because it's like, you mean I'm not filming you being fucked to blackmail you? That's like,
no, it's not.
That's what I think of when I think of Diddy. But yeah, go on.
When you introduce these things like a deflection, you know, essentially you're introducing these things and it doesn't matter that you try to deflect from it. But I would say that in the argument of being anything other than Black, this is a fun time.
Oh, pretty. Oh my God. I'm so selfies.
Selfie, you know.
We definitely need to take one. Oh my God. Do you go to school here? I'm like new, trying to find new friends.
Actually, I don't. I was like meeting up with one of my friends.
Bitch, I need a girlfriend. Oh my God. You're so gorgeous. And this dress is just out of this world.
Ponytail and everything.
Yes, you're slaying. Oh my God.
What's your name?
My name is Gio. What's your name?
I'm Esty.
Esty. Oh my God. Be my bestie. Yeah. Take my number. Oh my God. We should totally do something.
Yeah, for sure. You live around here?
You know, I'm just a new student around here and new this semester. So I'm just trying to find some girlfriends. Wow.
How are you?
Oh my God. There you go. Yes, we should totally do something.
Perfect. So
Wow.
put your number down.
Yeah, so let me know. Just text me and shit, and then I'm gonna see you. You know what I'm saying? We can work on some shit. You know what I'm saying? We can link something like that.
Bro, you just changed mad quick.
What you mean?
What you mean? You were like all commenting to me.
You know what I'm saying? You still look good, don't get me wrong, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, you got my number now. So you know what I'm saying? Yeah, just text me and then we gonna link.
Smooth move, right? That is the access to the tangibles, which would be the digits at that point. You know, I think he was trying to get more than the digits, but
I think that's so
not
weird.
the only one that I've seen. You know, there's a whole culture of this, Marie.
Well, I mean, I think that people just do shit to go viral. But in all actuality, if a man pretended to be gay, you would never get past like really being my friend. Like, you're gay, you're gay. Like, there's like, if I gave you my phone number because I wasn't attracted to you and we were going to be friends, then we're just still going to only be friends. No different than there's women that are lesbians or they can be very pushy and I'm still not going to be gay. I told you my stupid ass likes men. And that I'm never going to be with you. And like, it doesn't change that just because you have my phone number. That's not going to, like, my phone number is plastered all over the place. My same number was my business number. So to me, I just think that people also make up a lot of shit nowadays for social media because we're just a generation of a bunch of stupid motherfuckers that enjoy being entertained.
Hey, I'm sorry.
And you're like, let me show you another one though.
Period.
So now I know why
Girl, let me tell you, where you get that from?
trans man, just so we're clear. So that makes more sense now too than ever before. And we'll talk about that after the show. I get that being a teacher can be stressful, and so you have to unwind after work. But we're going to talk about how you're utilizing your time and what you're watching.
This was the first one I saw though, and it was the period and then the switch up, and I was like, is this nigga really just doing this to go viral? But no, it is a culture of sorts, you know, where men have found an entry point. And I want to say being millennials,
I do
we've
think
seen
we
movies
didn't have
like,
no fucking game, so if this is it, I
right, yeah. But look, what was the movie?
I have
There was some
42-year-olds asking for a hug, so I just want you to see me so I can have a hug. So I'm gonna just ignore you now at this point because are you fucking kidding me?
42. Not at 42.
You just come
Are you
outside
looking
and I just
for a
give you a
hug?
hug. Like, are we really doing this? Are you 12? Yeah, just lose my fucking number. Again, I told you I like should be gay and I'm not. So that's how I know. I'm absolutely sure you do not choose who you love or like. That's it.
I'm still gonna have to push back. I just think that you got some common sense, and you don't like that. It's you've shared the meme. I'm pretty sure you've shared the meme where it was like people who lack critical thinking skills must be fucking happy or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I do think that they have to be happy because ignorance is bliss. Like, for you
Ignorance
to just
is
exist
bliss.
in all thing. I mean, it kind of goes back to I had someone today debating me about, it's like there's officially 60 days left in Biden's presidency, and all these things that that immunity came out for the executive immunity came out a few months ago from the Supreme Court, and
Wait,
only
just
thing
go into
Biden
it
has
real
been
quick.
doing is
Go into that real quick though. Executive immunity.
It
into that?
basically means that someone who's president, they can't be like, no matter what they end up doing, they cannot be like charged with any crime or anything like that.
Right.
Which, because most presidents are war criminals anyways. That being said though, he has this executive immunity, he could be doing shit, even doing shit that may not be ideal. And all the things that all these Democrats that were so sad that Kamala lost and all the rights that are going to be lost because of it. But instead, he's literally basically agitating World War III, fucking with Russia. And to be honest with you, Russia ain't did shit to me. And I mean, in theory, they're just trying to do what they're letting Israel do. Like, Israel's just trying to take the Palestinian land. And Russia, like, this used to be ours and actually used to be theirs, like, in like within the last 200 years. So they just going back to get their shit. And in real life, no, I don't agree with that. But simultaneously, that's really none of my business as an American. My business is on American soil, not me financing wars other places. So, but then it becomes my business when you take my tax dollars and you put them over there. And then like we have a crumbling infrastructure and you're not focused on that or nothing like that, or you're not doing shit for the American people, or even to, it's like all the women, they're so concerned about Roe versus Wade. Why hasn't the legislation been put in place for that? Like, but instead you poking a motherfucking bear figuratively and literally. And so yeah, there's like 60 days left. You ain't did shit. Like, I don't even know. Like, imagine being that senile and then being in a position as a commander in chief that you can actually just start a war, or that's what you come to. It would also just lets me know how violent you've always probably been on the inside. Because you're just doing shit, there's that. Or even the fact that motherfucker didn't commit to his word talking about an arms embargo if Israel didn't stop within 30 days and it's exceeded the 30 days and he's still just, murdering innocent people.
It is very interesting that the Blue Party doesn't want to acknowledge the war crimes, but they want to zero in on, the things that Trump did the 4 years.
It's so interesting to be this party of we care about human rights and all these things, as we like literally parade around like killing humans and doing things that undermine that, but I'll say this, and this is where I was originally going, is people don't recognize it's really not about the individual presidents, it's about the empire. It's about everything that America stands for and everything that America does. Who America is, the colonial empire, the fact that we have bases all over the world is really the problem. It's not isolated to just Trump, or it's not just about Biden. It's about Obama. It's about Clinton. It's about Bush. It's about a pattern or a history of policing the world while also simultaneously exploiting the world, and then pretending to be just innocent, like we care about the people, or even the idea that they are absolutely a part of a fascist regime, in addition to the fact that they are bought and sold by corporations, which is also why Kamala stopped talking about certain things, because it would impact her particular donors. Republicans are not the only people that are bought and sold by these corporations and people with money, the top 2%. And the thing is like they perpetuate this thing as if they're against the system, but they are a part of it. That's why they're wealthy as fuck when they get into office after a while, because they're taking legal bribes one way or another. They're insider trading. Like, there's a whole series of things, but they perpetuate and pretend to be these innocent. We're the little guys candidate. We're here for you guys, the marginalized. The whole time they're actually a part of the system that's marginalizing you and disenfranchising you. But they lean on you every 4 years to get your vote, because we care. We care about you Black people. We care about you Hispanics. And we say these key words, these token words. We call you out by names in your demographic group because we want you to think that we see you. And we don't. We just see somebody, a body that can go vote for us or whatever to help us get this electoral college in the states that have that kind of pack in place. But the ironic part is the states that actually have more power in general over even just a vote are the smaller states, because they have more electoral college votes. And typically those are states that, there's less minorities there. But however, they actually are the people that really control who's going to become president. Where these bigger states like California, New York, with bigger populations, they actually only make up for 19% of the vote once you put the electoral college in place. Sorry, y'all. I'm just saying. I didn't mean to, but I can't.
Definitely can't help it, because it is on the brain. I think that as millennials, you can't help but want to be involved in the political conversation, even if you did like I did, voted for your nice comfy couch, because it's the lack of accountability. We grew up having to own all of the mistakes, and shit. Sometimes we got in trouble for shit that we didn't even do. And now we're the adults in the room, and these old people are, I don't know, it's like they lied to us for years about, it's that do as I say, not as I do thing. And I said that I was never going to be that parent. So we don't do that over here. But now it's,
I'm very cognizant of not being that parent, and I will apologize or own my shit.
yes. But that's exactly what I'm saying. We are up against people who have the power.
But there was a culture of do as I say, not as I do. And it was doing all types of contradictory things, not recognizing your children do what you do for the most part. Not what you say, but what you do.
What you do, because they're little sponges, little absorbers. And really, they're not listening to you at all. They're definitely watching.
And Jesse. So I still feel how I feel. I think that the Palestinian conflict, just in general, I don't even know why I'm calling it a conflict, the genocide and the colonialism that's occurring in Palestine, it is my business because it's the same oppressive system that has oppressed Blacks, that has oppressed Africans, that is suppressing Southeast Asians, Hawaiians, Puerto Ricans, Haiti. It's the same fucking system. So in essence, for us to, I guess, to make a change, for us to be globally liberated, we actually do have to come together to fight against the machine. So I feel that it directly is still, it's no different. What's happening there is no different than what's happening in Mississippi or what happened in Ferguson or what's happening day to day. And I think I've talked about the militarization of police, or even the fact that it's Israeli soldiers and IDF soldiers that are training our military personnel. And that's why it matters. And I guess I don't think that anyone can be free until everyone's free. Now, that sounds all militant-y and whatever, but it's true.
I think that that's very good. Jesse, Jesse, we don't know each other. I seem to fall on the side of the
Eve agree with
you, but for the most part, it's people's understanding of what's going on is very, very directly related to their environment and who they've been around. So I would say that while everybody's waking up, because Kamala told everybody they got to be woke, we're actively fighting people who want to go back to sleep. So we're having to have common sense conversations, like our country specifically is doing really bad things. So while we might not be the ones doing anything, and while we might be the ones who are directly owed something right the fuck now, we might not be able to even pay attention to that because of all the fires. It is the World War III that people keep telling me is impending for me, but it was
actually announced by some other countries. Like there were some countries that actually sent out leaflets to their citizens, letting them know that we're on the brink. And then there were other people. It was the Ukrainian general that had a press release and said that we are in World War III. And part of me wonders, like,
propaganda though. That's the propaganda mill. To me,
but is it propaganda if we've given approval for Ukraine to launch long-range missiles? Is it propaganda?
No, that's not what I mean. I mean, to label it World War III is to enact a fear factor that is there already, but they want the embers to turn into a flame, and then chaos ensues, and now people do their work for them.
But in essence, we've been doing work for Israel for a long time. Every war that we've been in the Middle East, it's actually been propagated by Israel. Netanyahu, from the first Desert Storm to Iran to this. Matter of fact, all he does is tell us how if we just go in there and kill this said group of people, take this person out, take out Saddam Hussein, take out Gaddafi, take out this, it's going to make things better. And to me, all it seems like we've done is like is pave the way to create instability so that he could probably continue to capture more of the Middle East and make it part of his greater Israel, but at our expense, at Americans' expense, at American taxpayers' expense. And I think
it's more about the we. You're doing the geopolitical global stance, and then for Black Americans who are more focused, laser beam focused, if you will, on our reparative debt, it's almost like, who gives a shit? Fuck you.
I mean, I guess you would also
say
that too, but then simultaneously, I have family in the military.
So do I. It's a very layered conversation.
A direct impact, though, in essence, if you think about it in that regard. So we're sending out young people, which typically most people join the military because they're poor. They're not joining because they just really want to fight for their country. So we're sending out young people to die for shit that doesn't even make sense or they believe in. But I guess to me, though, it's like I said, yeah, it is geopolitics, but it's still connected. It all has an impact. It's almost like the human body, right? You know what I mean? It is
interconnected. Yeah. I agree with you. And I also agree with Jesse, because it's a layered and leveled conversation. You can have the conversation about our geopolitical state and talk about, what's going on here. However, if we're talking about why shit's not getting done here, it is probably directly related to the fact that our resources are being spent everywhere else, which would go back into the geopolitics of it all. So, one without the other is almost impossible. But look, this is related and unrelated. So Jesse, you're just going to have to excuse my ADHD.
In the discussions, it's simply about material, or is there discussion about it was previously testified that there's biologics that were collected. Are you aware of any of that?
I am, sir, aware of the reporting that biologics have been recovered. Again, my focus was more nuts and bolts, looking at the physical aspects of these phenomenon, how they interacted around military equities and nuclear equities. So I'm certainly not a medical expert. I would not be able to probably provide you a whole lot of value in that, simply because I don't have the expertise.
But was anything described as that we have possession of bodies?
Yes.
We have is it multiple types of creatures, or?
Sir, I couldn't answer that. I can tell you anecdotally that it was discussed quite a bit when I was at the Pentagon. The problem is the supposed collection of these biological samples occurred before my time. In fact, before I was even born.
And was this part of the Lockheed Martin discussion, or was this the biologics is a completely separate?
Separate yet related.
Okay. Has anyone made contact?
Sir, I'm sorry, could you specify?
Has there been any, to your knowledge, any communication with a non-human life form?
So the term communication is a bit of a trick word, because there's verbal communication like we're having now. The problem is you also have nonverbal communication. And so I would say definitively yes, but from a nonverbal meaning, when a Russian reconnaissance aircraft comes into US airspace, we scramble 2 F-22s, and we are certainly communicating intent and capability. I think the same goes with this. We have these things that are being observed over controlled US airspace. And they're not really doing a good job hiding themselves. They're making it pretty obvious they have the ability to even interfere with our nuclear equities and our nuclear readiness.
So, not quite geopolitics, but definitely some intergalactic conversation.
But my shit isn't very connected. But now you done took us out the fucking universe.
We in a whole.
And it's like, well, Marie, her geopolitics. Well, now I'm going to take us off this planet. Like, okay, okay, like that's very hypocritical. But okay.
No, well, here's the thing though. Inside of what we've been talking about, it is the layers. What's more important? We've got the government finally admitting that there's aliens and that they've known about them for, however fucking long, longer than this guy's been alive, or so then longer than we've been alive, because I'm sure he's a little bit older than us. So there's a, shit, we're not alone. And then inside of this little snippet, it was 9 hours, so the House and Senate both had the opportunity to answer some questions and ask some questions, and not really get any answers, but that moment right there, I thought that that was a good moment of clarity, because the right to choose, you know, it's not just sex, it's not just killing babies, it's not just where you live, it is all of it. Are we responsible enough to have information to do something with it that makes sense? Or are we going to take the information and do something fucked up?
What if people just out hunting aliens to kill them, and then the aliens are actually very harmless or something like that? And then I mean, there's so many variables. Like, you know, remember like the things that were happening to people after 9/11, just because, and they weren't even sometimes like there's Indians that wear like a turban to some degree, but people couldn't discern them between Muslims. So they were still beating them up too. Or even during Vietnam, and when they decided to take all of the Vietnamese or even Japanese in World War II, they would try to take them all and put them in concentration camps. They couldn't distinguish the different ethnicities among the Asians, and so they just took everybody. And that was like their, you know, or even too with Trump, when he, you know, it's like we got COVID from China, and then, you know, people just started beating up Chinese people for no reason, or I guess for a reason in their mind, because how dare one of you, I don't know which one, but one of you brought this shit in, so now you're all going to fucking pay. I would think that
people were beating up Asians. Niggas was still frequenting the carry out and having to get service behind bulletproof glass and, you know, fun times like that. But no, I just think that it is very interesting the times that we're living in. Jesse, we're not minding white business.
Actually, I'm so pro-abortion, so I don't know, and I've had one. So I would think that I want other women to have access to, so they're not stuck with some motherfucker's baby that they don't want to have, because kids are really forever. They're actually more forever than marriage. You're stuck with that partner. Like if you actually, they're active in your child's life, you're stuck with them for the rest of their motherfucking life. So no. I actually am
for the rest of your life. You're stuck with them for the rest of your life. To be honest
with you, is that I feel like they're making other people fight a white man's war, because white men are upset because white women don't want to have their kids anymore. It's about a white birth rate. So you being Christian, you fighting a white man's war. Personally,
I would wholeheartly agree with that.
So that's what that is. Some white men got together and realized that these women ain't having their babies no more. I'm just kind of like, oh. And some other rich white men got together and thought, what about our labor force? What about our jails?
They like butt cheeks and said, let's go fuck up some other part of the world.
They're like, what about our jails? Who's gonna be in there to work for Starbucks and Target and McDonald's from prison if people stop having kids and being in poverty?
Look, I am 100% in agreement for the reasons why. The idle mind, you know, being the devil's playground aspect of it all, and you know, idle time is when you should be fucking. So if your women aren't trying to be with you, they don't want to have your babies, and you're in the global red, then yeah, you probably would try to start some shit.
But if you're like not nice men in general, who the fuck would want to have your kid anyways? Like some of these people are terrible.
We used to eat each other, Marie. I understand white feminism. I don't understand black women in the fight. Jesse, again, we're gonna have to just.
And then I'm like, but do you work for the white man or you work for a black man?
I work for a black man.
Okay, so you're lucky.
So look, and I'm not. My experience is not. It is not normal. So I know
everything about me is about my experience as well. And typically, I don't know, like even the idea of working for yourself, I feel like you still have an employer, or you still like even your clients are your employer.
No, I have to fucking pay the bills. We got utilities.
Yeah, but for me, I want to get paid the same salary as Tim. If me and Tim are doing the same job, I need to get paid the fucking same way Tim gets.
I would agree with that too.
And that's what I'm fighting for when I talk about equity or feminism in general. Is I need to get the same motherfucking money. Or get this, if I want to wear some pumps and cook meals and shit and wear lipstick, that should be okay. If I decide I want to go to work and blah, 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 that should be okay too. I shouldn't be ostracized for that. For me, feminism is about agency. It's about, I can. And like I said, I want to be in a position where I also don't have to stay with Rufus because he comes home drunk beating my ass. But, you know, I would like to open up a fucking bank account without a man's permission, or own a vehicle, or own a house, or whatever. Because if I'm working, I too should be able to do that. It shouldn't be just Rufus, because he was born with a fucking penis, that has the option to make purchases or has a decent salary, and he's doing the same job as me. And that's my concern. I'm not so much concerned about being able to just fuck who I want to, or any of that liberation shit, whatever, because that to me, that people have always wanted to fuck me. That's not a big thing to me. So that means nothing to me. But access, opportunity, and equal wages, that means a lot to me. However,
I would agree with those reasons to have that, you know, to have that passion. You know, most women inside of the fight are not as articulate as you, nor do they give a shit to get down to the clarity aspect. You know, they really kind of want to domineer the conversation because of what you just said, all of the inequities. I would agree with, you know, equal work for equal pay, sure. And you should be able to do the things, sure. But that's the right to choose, you know, and then inside of your choice, you got to eat that too.
Okay. Having the right to choose, and like, so Jesse said whatever he said, but I'll be honest with you, I get paid more than some white men I work with. And for me, that means a lot to me. You know, feel like that's like a, okay. Like, you know, meanwhile, I don't then tell them how much more I make than them, but I'm glad to know that I'm working in a company that's equitable and they see my value. And I think that's important to me. So for me, it's either I need to be equal. We need to be equal. I need to make more if I'm gonna feel good about myself and what I do every motherfucking day. And I will say the previous
maths, you know, again, equal pay for equal work. Y'all shouldn't be out here slaving. Niggas ain't worked for free since 1865, so we're gonna have to stop that. But Jesse just
like
have the same fight as Marie. So if you would just in the future, don't lump.
But Eve is
anybody in anything, you know.
Eve is Ado. She's, you know, anti-white feminism. You know, she like. But I mean, I think some things too. I don't like. You know, when Trump, you know, they started that we're gonna go march. So I don't believe marching really does much anymore, to be honest with you. So even the idea, and I will say I did participate in the initial march. I also used to be naive and thought, you know, even you said what?
What march?
When Trump was going to be president last time, there was like a whole march. It was like a women's rights march.
Okay.
That's where, I don't know if you ever seen my post where I was like, well, now you guys can go make vagina hats. So there's a lot of symbolic things that are done. For me personally, I don't believe in certain things anymore. Like, I don't believe in marching. I don't think that makes a fucking difference. I think that it's a nice symbolic thing. Like, oh, that's cute, you know. I think it has maybe the ability to inspire others. However, I just don't like I don't believe in infiltrating. Like, I no longer think that you can, let's say you are a decent person. You're like, well, I'm going to become a cop because I'm going to change the system.
You're going to change the system.
I don't believe in that. I don't believe that exists anymore. And that's why you never really hear me talk about certain things anymore, because I don't think it can be done that way. In fact, the way it needs to be done, people will go to jail for. Like the only way, because also the only thing that they understand is violence. So I know for a fact that all that stuff, like none of that shit is bless you. None of that stuff actually works, and we've seen it not work. Like, even too, like I'm very loud and proud about Palestine. I did join the initial marches that they were doing, but I also know people marched and protested Vietnam. It didn't stop. Mm-hmm. I don't think that's what stops or makes catalyst for change. A real catalyst change is something really bad happening. It has to get really bad first, and then we'll see change. Even when
sure. But bad doesn't have to be bad. It just has to be not the status quo. Like, slavery was legal, but then, you know, it took 2 generals to go to 2 plantations and say, hey, we're going to give you niggas guns, come fight with us and you'll get your freedom. And that was against the law. Can't arm no niggas. But then they broke the law, and well, now we don't live.
But going back to it, I'm assuming it was bad for the Confederate side. But I mean, what
right.
war would help the Union win the war in general was dysentery. It wasn't their ability to fight. It was a fucking virus probably that had everyone shitting to death. That being said, though, too, you know, even we look at maybe the uprising in Haiti, violence is really what typically gets you resolved. Violence, or even to capitalism, what is it? I want to say destabilizing capitalism. That's violence for them. So impacting their economy and their market. So even too, that's why those bus boycotts were successful.
Yes, the dollar was.
But it was very strategic. Even the Rosa Parks, it wasn't just some random woman that she was put in a position. She was also, she looked at certain parts so that people would empathize with her. There was.
Look, let me cut you off real quick on that, because you brought up Desi's point. Pretty privilege, that's a real thing. And then from there, I know that you just told us that you don't do extra because you're not one of them niggas. But I do know that you are a person who doesn't allow the aesthetics to guide your abilities or lack thereof. You're not just going to get the job because you were pretty. You're going to get it because you were qualified. And then from there, people make their assumptions based off of how you look. So I would say that Rosa Parks being a strategic move for the NAACP and, us moving forward with civil rights, that was definitely a move. And then a woman like you speaking maybe, and this is not me trying to plug anything. This is just this came up tonight. So a woman like you speaking more like me, that would be very interesting, because who knows what the fuck you're going to say. And then you come out and you aren't talking about Palestine, but you're talking about, Black Americans' reparative debt and, the immediacy of that those types of curveballs are what disrupt the system. And as such, it is the pretty people aspect, the pretty privilege. People will follow a pretty person doing uncomfortable things because, well, shit, I want to be just like her. You know how many bitches can't dance but want to act like they Beyonce in the shower? That the single ladies dance. Everybody was breaking hold on, let me put on the camera so y'all can laugh. They was breaking their necks and doing all of this and flapping out of water, fish that need to breathe, and all sorts of ridiculous things ensued. But they had their pretty person that they were pedestalizing and they wanted to be just like, so then they start trying to emulate. So I get it. All of that makes sense. Go ahead.
When I used to be part of a Black identity organization, I never felt like I was the right face to be front and center.
But you're not.
And whenever they would position me to or ask me to, I would kind of decline or turn it down, because I just felt like to some degree I epitomized certain things that just I don't feel represent. And not to say that I don't feel any less Black, but I also understand that there are certain things that are fetished. And I wasn't going to I felt like someone else needed to be in that position and not me. And some of it was aesthetics. Because I also didn't want to change what people strive to be like. And this was when my hair was blonde too. So my blonde hair, light skin. No, I'm not going to.
Yeah, let's throw her up there and give.
Yeah, and it's like, no, I'm not going to go up here. And the interesting part is there was one night we were actually hosting Black Panthers. And I'm like, I don't feel like I'm the appropriate person to go up and believe me, I think I'm Black as fuck. But understand too, I also epitomize a lot of things that are fetished and kind of even, I'm like, I don't want to say look down upon, but there's some things like, no, like I can't be the person to do this. There can be another Black male, there can be another Black woman, but even if it's like, well, but you're very articulate, yeah, that's fine. But I'm a super fair-skinned Black woman. I'm not the face of a Black movement.
Look, that goes back into the whole you're not gay, not because you can't choose anything else, but it's just who you are, and then from there, the common sense, critical thinking aspect that makes up you, you're not going to do things that don't make sense, even if it were to
fuck you very
seemingly be marketable or beneficial for you, in the immediacy of it all. And
But
maybe
behind
I'm
the
not saying
scenes,
you
I
don't
can do
benefit
all
from,
the things. I didn't have a problem with doing all the things behind the scenes. I just didn't feel like that should be.
yeah,
I should
because
be.
you didn't want to be. I mean, I get
I
it.
also feel like I'm taking
Fetishized.
away.
Yeah, yeah.
But
It makes sense. It
that
totally
being
makes
said, though, I want to say this. Where are we going with this? That being said, while I do, what Joe Biden wanted into the Amazon. Oh, you did pull that up. That being said, I do. I think that certain things have to be just strategic, but I do think that for me, I feel like even sometimes we all get complacent. Like even though, like I talk about Palestine, but I've always known about their struggle. It wasn't October 7th, wasn't. But I mean, immediately they tried to vilify them, and then to see people I know repeating things that I know just aren't true. I think that's where my ferociousness came from. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? That is not what happened, and that is not the history. And just seeing so many people just misinformed or misguided, and so much disinformation, that really just. I think that irks the fuck out of me. Like even it's so bad that I think recently someone was selling something and they actually had the wrong name for it. And even though I wasn't purchasing it, I felt the need to correct them. I'm like, that is not what that is. This is what this is. And then just kept it moving. There's something in me, I don't know, like low-key, I might be autistic or something, but
not working.
I just want to work for it. It's like I don't mean any harm by it, but I need you to know that you're
I
wrong
need you to fix this
about this, and just here. But here I want to correct you. It's loving, but then also too, I started just being more aware of just the need for like a global liberation. I didn't realize, I never realized, I even lived in Hawaii once when my mother was in the military. I didn't realize how many Hawaiians hated our presence there. And rightfully so. I didn't realize that so many Puerto Ricans didn't like our presence there. And it was like kind of this awakening of recognizing that all these people that you think that, oh, you're part of this American excellence empire. They're like, it is not excellent.
Would rather not.
It is not excellent for me.
That is the civil rights struggle benefits in real time. Essentially, there is an argument and debate that I don't think people talk about enough. But did we want to shop with and be around, or did we just want equal access to the resources?
Agency, opportunity, and so even too, I'll be the first to say that I don't necessarily think that integration was really good for Black people. Outside of, again, being able to move around legally, that's about all you get. Other than that, it kind of corrupted our economy, and we also kind of integrated into a culturalist system. There was drugs, all these things where it's like we come from this conservative environment, and then it's almost like sending your naive or your green kids to college, and it's like all this stuff that's going on, so all these parties, they're fucking, they're doing this, they're doing drugs, and it's like, and then you have these green people that are just.
They go fucking ape shit.
And I think the question was, it's like not realizing, like also to not knowing what you're getting. Like sometimes you think you want something or you want access to something. I don't know if it was like some guy that used to do sit-ins, and then he said he finally got to eat in that restaurant and the food was fucking terrible. And he was just like,
I remember reading that. That's
for real. But it's like, but going back to, it's like Black people were fighting for access or opportunity. I think it wasn't until they finally got it. Oh, this it. I don't even know if I really want to be a part of this. Yes, but I want my child to have the option to go to get the best education possible. I want to be able to travel if I want to do that. And I think even to some degree, that's what most people want. They just want the option. Can I do this? Can I do this legally? Can I not get my ass beat to do it? Right. I may not even want to do it, but if I want to do it,
if I want to do it, I want to be able to do it if it's legal. Right. Absolutely. That is the right to choose. I mean, I think that if we are going to be progressive,
but he's right. He's absolutely right. But I can always remind them that my mother has Ashkenazi Jew in her ancestry, so that means that I do too. So I can say that.
Don't kick us off, YouTube. We're almost done. Look, it is it's a layered conversation that you'll have over here with us,
but let's go look at this Wanders in the Amazon.
As we exit tonight's show,
secret place.
Don't be like Joe
for our time and forever,
or me,
for the benefit of all humanity. So let's preserve this secret place for our time and forever, for the benefit of all humanity. Thank you very, very much.
Why you decided to prove Ukraine's peace? Here he goes. He did this for you, Marie. He said, now where are those monkeys? He said those monkeys are aggressive. Where are those? I'm just.
Why was he there?
Well, apparently, it's the first time that we've been there as a seated president goes to the Amazon. I think that he was on vacation for his birthday. And then as far as any presidential duties that he's going to be doing or has done while he's been over there, who the fuck knows? I'm sorry. Kamala is on vacation from her very hard election campaigning, and Joe's on vacation from life and has been probably seen on the beach more times than any president in the past 4 years. So what do they do when they go to these places other than fuck up life for us for the next couple of years? I don't know. You won't catch me lying on Harriet Tubman's internet. But I definitely wanted to share that with you, because Marie, Joe doesn't want to be here. I feel like he's whistleblown a bunch of different times how he does not want this. And, well, now he doesn't have to worry about having the responsibility.
Before we close.
Go ahead.
So one, how dare American president go to the Amazon after half the American countries have created deforestation and just destabilized those countries, that region. They basically contributed to the pollution, exploitation, and in general, it's impacted the environment on a global level. And then simultaneously, Jesse, when America uses Black people as their face, just like that woman gets up there and speaks whatever, like she was the Black woman who's also a lesbian, got up there and she was speaking about how America rejects the charges against Netanyahu. When it's a Black American at the UN, a male and a female, that's exactly how people look at some Black folks as American. That's exactly why they don't see a Black person, they see an American. And some of it's a lot of nuance to it, but there seems to be, and honestly, I think it's very strategic too, because then you can't really undermine them the way you want to, because then you could be deemed racist, just like Jews do all kinds of shit. And anytime you say something about them, you're anti-Semitic, even though you just did some fucking bullshit. And I can criticize you because you did some bullshit. It has nothing to do with you being Jewish, motherfucker. You could be anything and you still did this bullshit, and I still have to call you out on it. But they have been using Black faces, especially Black women, to carry out and be the face of their empire and their exploitation globally. And that does matter, because going back to, as you stated, media has a lot of influence. So it's what people see, not what they know, but what they see. And it's actually really fucking terrible. Like, imagine you coming from a background of exploitation and disenfranchisement and marginalization, and then you decide that you're going to just like, well, fuck it. If I can't beat them, I'll just join them.
That is another argument that is out there. Are you trying to be the new white supremacist, you Black supremacists, you know?
So, like, maybe we should discuss the desire to assimilate, because even middle-class Blacks act like that too. So maybe on our next show, we'll talk about how our desire to be accepted in America is so great that everyone that comes here will try to act like white people or try to impress the whites so they can feel accepted.
I like it.
Anywho.
Well, there you go, you guys. Tune in next week where we will talk assimilation. And are you as American as you think you are?
Oh, let's talk about that. Oh, we can even talk about the African Americans that think they're Cherokee, but they're really just white. There's a road we can go down. Then we can talk about Cherokees.
Oh, like I like Jesse. We will make sure to tag you in that show. So
Yes, like matter of fact, I can't wait till we get our phones up so then you can just argue.
get these call-ins going because that would be excelente. Not going along to get along. Franklin.
Hey,
Where you
Franklin.
been, whole chat, man? I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, but tune in next week. Please make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit the bell so that you're notified.
Share, tell a friend, like the post,
like it,
check us out on YouTube or Facebook or, wherever. It would be Instagram, but I'm banned for anti-Semitic statements, I guess.
So there's that. Tune in while we have channels because, Marie might get us taken off even though she's got the heritage for the protection. Bye, y'all. Good night.
Bye.